it's Cosmic Charles, and I'm back with just a quick update plus an interesting match where I drew deep, like the deepest into my library to date. So I thought that'd be fun to share. Unfortunately, I've been very busy this week, and I don't really have time to upload a longer video. I will try and upload a full length league this week. But I also want to focus on playing so I can get better at playing the deck because I've noticed that I'm making a lot of misplays, so I really need to play it more to get better at playing it. Yeah, so there's a quick update here. As you can see, I've cut the muddle and I've cut the deep analysis to go back to 2/4Cs. The sheer draw power of 4C is just I was really missing it, and deep analysis doesn't dig as quickly. Yes, it's better against counter magic, but I have this pretty big board space dedicated to like anti-counter hate, so I haven't really been having that many troubles resolving a 4C. Sometimes it gets countered, but they'll usually need a counter spell to do it. So it's yeah, so that's been working pretty well for me. 4C's been very strong, and so has Tolarian Wind. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna keep this as my other half of the big draw spell. The other half also being Vivisurgence Insight, because you do need them due to all of these lands and, Thirsting Root type effects. So, let's take a look at my sideboard. So I was really struggling against mono blue, so I decided to just go with an excessive amount of board wipe. And because this is a storm deck, you have access to Scatter Shot, which is just an amazing removal spell against fairies. It's very, very strong against them because they can't really counter it. They can counter one copy to maybe save one creature, but I'm pretty big in favor of that interaction. And Breath Weapon, really good if they ever tap out. So that's been very good against fairies. I've played it a couple times with these 5 cards, and it's feeling like it might even be slightly favorable now for me. And I believe I can go 7 deep now. 3 Breath, 2 Scattershot, 1 Dispel, and 1 Pyro against the mono blue matchup, because this Weather the Storm is just so bad against them. I'd probably take out 3 or something like that. I'm not 100% convinced, so I'll try new things. And I also realized that I've been boarding in Giga Drowse way too much, and it's really only for the like Tron, FAMs, 4C, Ephemerate Control, or like 4C Wildfire, whatever you call that deck, and other like really slow counter heavy matchups. It's not really for the tempo or the or the tempo or like the aggro decks. Although I did get to use it as both a tap down spell to prevent counter magic and to tap down some creatures, and that did win me a game against this one matchup, and that against the UB matchup, and that was pretty fun. But the chances of that happening are just so low, and I've lost many games by just misplaying this Giga Drowse. I'm kind of new to playing Giga Drowse. I played it a little bit like years ago, but I'm not very good at playing it. But yeah, that's the update for the deck. You also notice that I cut a Moment's Peace. The reason for that is that the mono red deck now typically runs the Goblin Blast Runner, so Breath Weapon's gone up in value, so I'd rather just have 3 Breath Weapon and 1 Moment's Peace. Not to mention the flashback was so hard to cast. I normally only ever cast the front half of this. It's usually enough. That's one of the reasons why I used to run Tangle instead of Moment's Peace, because I found it was kind of like a pseudo Weather the Storm, because it allowed you to fog and then tap out the next turn for your Vivisurgence Insight. It kind of like was better for what the deck was trying to do. But if you're trying to like fog, you need to fog. Moment's Peace is just the better card against, let's say like elves or bogles. So I'm going to keep the Moment's Peace in as a one of. Yeah, so that was the update, and now let's go on to the match, where I drew the deepest I've ever drawn in my library. It was a really fun one. Okay, I hope to see you soon. The first game of the match against Necrus. I know they're a pretty good player. I've played against them before in the past. I don't know how long they've been playing Pauper for. I'm not sure if they're a veteran, but I do know they always play like the tier 1 decks. So let's see what they're on. But first, let's take a look at my hand. Risky hand. It looks... The only reason why this is keepable is because of the Everflowing Chalice and the Pentad Prism. And even with those, it's pretty slow because you're not going to be able to start doing anything until turn 3. I do believe I kept it, but I don't know if you should keep hands like this. This, by the way, is one of the reasons why I only run 5 basics. They're nice as like a lotus petal type effect, but you really can't keep a hand that only has basics in it unless you have a chalice, and that's only against slower matchups. So hopefully this opponent isn't on a fast one. And let's just press play. Alright, the lead on Mountain into Swiftspear. Bad news for me because of this hand. Hopefully, nope. I just lead on an island, and there goes the Synth. Do they hit a land? They sure do. And they go in with an Epicure, and they get in for 2. I go Forest, that's a good draw, the Scary, into Everflowing Chalice, and they go Impulse into 3, and they miss a land drop notably. I now cast a Prism. I'm trying to ramp. I'm not trying to Ritual. I want to have a huge weather next turn. They bolt me down to 10, and they get in for 4, and I'm down to 6. And I go Thirsting Roots, adding 1 mana. I can now go Contentious Plan for free. And I can now go Manamorphose to filter. Blue, double green, that makes sense. Because I have the Weathered Storm and another Manamorphose. Another plan, Manamorphose, good hit. Get that storm count high. Now I can go Contentious Plan, drawing a 4C, good hit. I'm going to need that for next turn. And now I can gain a bunch of life. So that was pretty good. Let's see what they do now. They go Chain Lightning. I don't copy it because they can pump this guy up. Don't copy it. I'm still trying to ramp. Ooh, into a Bushwhacker. They get in for a bunch. 8, I believe. I go for C, taking the Vivisurge's Insight, bottoming the 3 lands. Again, that's almost like a free compulsive. I did not need those lands. And now I can go into Prism, into another free Augury. I'll pause here. So I went Augury, Hold Control, respond with Tolarian Winds, because I was hoping to draw a, what was it called? Prologue, because he's not infected, as you can see. But that didn't make any sense, because I only had 2 counters on Prism, so that was a misplay on my part. I didn't need to do that. But a pretty good draw. Draw what? Draw 4 with Tolarian Winds, or a loot 4, I guess you would say. So let's just press play. So I proliferate, and the weather was a good pickup. I'll probably cast that now so I don't die. And into another, which I can't cast because I don't want to lose any of these prisms. I value the prism over the 3 life here. They go Epicure, into blow up Synth, into get in for 3. Looking good for the home team right now. I can cast a 4C, all good hits. I believe I bottom the Merchant Scroll. Oh no, I keep the Merchant Scroll on top. All on top. I just changed the order a bit. And now I can go Prism, storming off again for another Weather the Storm, drawing pretty well here. And I believe I can go Vivisurgence here into Weather. Yep, and they're finally infected, as you can see, so I'm finally starting to make progress. I'm not just spinning my wheels. And Weather, gaining a bunch. So it's looking like I'm going to get this one. These Merchant Scrolls translate into more Tolarian Winds, so I can draw even more. And they Chain Lightning me, but I don't think they're going to be able to kill me from here. Okay, let's see. Another one. My 4th copy of Weather, I think, or 3rd, I don't remember. So I just go Augury, adding just it's like adding 4 mana now. That's pretty big. And I can go a 1 mana Vivisurge's Insight here into a adding 3, so a Cabal Ritual Thirsting Roots, and they should just be dead here. I have infinite mana pretty much. And Vivisurge's Insight, boom, 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 into Tolarian Winds to draw 8. And yeah, that was pretty sweet. As you can see, I'm down to 3 cards in library. That is the deepest I've ever drawn. All right, and let's go on to the second game. For game 2, let's take a look at this hand. Oh, first let's take a look at how I boarded. So, I boarded in 2 copies of Moment's Peace, 1 Hydro, and it looks like 2 copies of Breath Weapon, taking out 1 4C, 1 Merchant Scroll, 1 Winds, and 2 Chalice. Let's see how that went. This is a pretty decent hand. They have the Manamorphose, the Chalice for ramping. They do run Artifact Destruction, so I should be careful about that. The Tolarium's for looting, and the Moment's Peace for a little bit of life. Alright, I'll just press play and see how it went. Our opponent leads on Mountain into Epicure, so that's not their best start, but we'll see how it can go. They now go Impulse, and they get in for 1. I go Needle. They go Blast Runner, Swift Spear, 2, and a lot. So it looks like I'm down to 12. Let's see how I can do here. I go Chalice into Manamorphose into Augury, picking up a plan. Let's see what they do now. They get in for Blast Runner and smash my Chalice. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I don't like doing that. I'd rather hold the Chalice until I can get some mana up. And I just fog for some life. Unfortunately, I'll pause here. This is the problem with Moment's Peace against Mono Red and why I was running Tangle in the first iteration of this deck. I am now priced into holding up 3 mana, so I cannot cast these insights. It's unfortunate. Maybe I should have cast this route to grab an island. In fact, I probably should have, but I didn't. So, actually I couldn't because of, again, I need to hold up the screen for Moment's Peace, flashback activation. Alright, and I'll just press play. They get in for 4. They can also make it lethal, but I just Moment's Peace here. And they go Gorilla Shaman. And I concede because I don't have blue mana or any way to really do anything. So I'll just go on. Let's go on to game 3 for the third game of the match. Let's take a look at how I boarded. So I took up my Moment's Peace after seeing how miserable they were game 2, and just put in my scatter shots for just more field wipe, which I think will be more effective. Scatter shot is a little slow for this matchup, so this is one of the reasons why I cut a Moment's Peace and put in a breath weapon after this game. I realized that's what I should be doing. And yeah, so that's why I made that change. A little bit of results-oriented thinking there, but I think I've had this be an issue enough times that it was warranted. And let's take a look at this hand. Really good, double scary, needle, lots of proliferation, and prologue. Okay, I'll just press play and see how it goes. So I lead on a scary, and they go Furnace into Swift Spear, getting in for 1. Chalice, decent draw. They go Shaman, making my Chalice not so good. And I go Prologue into Breath Weapon, great draw. They get in for 2. I go pause here, and I just wipe their field with Breath Weapon. I choose to sacrifice the scary because I don't want to take that much damage. I have this Manamorphose for more blue mana. I think it'll be fine. Okay, and I'll just press play. Our opponent plays another land. They go Smash. Unfortunate. I can go Woodlock. Good draw. Into Vivisurgeon. So there I had the choice between 2 Vivisurgeon and another breath weapon. I chose the Vivisurgeon because I just want to keep drawing cards. I've already wiped their field once. They only have 3 cards in hand. And I'll just press play. Our opponent plays a land and plays a kicked Bushwhacker. Good sign for me. They get in for 2. I untap. And I don't think I play into Pyro here, and I just proliferate. Draw 3, play a Woodlot, and pass. They go Blast Runner, Goblin Bushwhacker kicked, get in for a bunch, I'm down to 6, but these weathers will come in handy. I go Morphos into another Chalice, into Proliferate, into Poison, or Proliferate again rather. I've already poisoned them. Into Poison, into gain some life. They go Gorilla Shaman, blowing up my Chalice. I'll just pause here for a second. So I take the Hydroblast there over the Pentad Prism, because I have a lot of lands. 3 blue, I don't really need it. So I thought that was better. And I also got some usage at a chalice there. That's one of the reasons, like I say, I like to hold it so I can at least use it as a ritual if they're going to blow it up, so I can't use it as ramp. And I'll just press play. And I'll just proliferate, proliferate, proliferate. A little flooded here, but maybe I can draw Tolarian Winds and dig through this. Our opponent goes Synth, which I choose not to counter. I don't think the matchup's about countering their Synthesizer. And they get in 4/4. I draw an Vivisurgent's Insight, huge, plus this island for protection. Proliferate, proliferate, proliferate. I think, yeah, they're almost definitely dead next turn, yeah. They bolt me, but I have this weather for protection, plus this Hydro. They blow up their Synth into another mountain. Now the opponent's flooding a little bit. And they get in for 6, taking me down to 8. And they go Epicure. 0 cards in hand. They never even had the Pyro. So now I can just go Vivisurgent's Insight, and that should seal this deal up. Oh, I choose to go Prism first for some reason. I go Vivisurgent. Boom, 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 boom. And Roots should finish them off. Alright. And that was the match. I hope you enjoyed. And I do plan on doing a full league later this week. I think if I film it game by game, I can have enough time to eventually upload it on the weekend. All right, and I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you again. Have a good one.